Hello. Today we're going to continue with some vegetarian meals. We're going to make stuffed shells with vegetables, kind of a ratatouille in a stuffed shell. I grew up with stuffed shells. It was one of my mother's go-to recipes. So we do it a little bit differently because I'm not sure she was putting vegetables in it like we're going to do. So first we're going to heat a pan with some oil. We'll put in about the small onion. We're going to saute that for a little bit. And then we're going to add some vegetables. Saute those, get those nice and sweaty. We're going to cook it in the oven in a 450 preheated oven in just a minute. So we don't have to cook them all the way, we just have to get some heat on them, get them to sweat a little bit, get them to cook down slightly. All right. All right, let me put in a little garlic. Let that fragrantly heat. Love garlic. And the vegetables that we're going to use here today will be eggplant, red bell pepper, one small zucchini, one small yellow squash, and some chickpeas, along with some tomatoes. Got a little basil, a little cheese, and here are shells that we've already pre-cooked. And they're ready to be stuffed when this is done. All right, so we're going to put in our vegetables in a minute. So red pepper here, eggplant. This is zucchini. That's yellow squash. We're going to put this in with the aromatics. Cook these down a little bit. Throw in the chickpeas. We want those to get cooked a little bit. And this is going to take a couple of minutes. After this has been heated through and cooked a little bit, we're going to throw in some tomatoes. And now I'm going to add in some salt and pepper, a little salt, a little fresh ground pepper, and some oregano, all right. Okay. Come in together nicely. I don't want to put the tomatoes in too soon because they both cook quickly and they have a lot of liquid in them. So we want to kind of avoid that. Part of the allure of this dish is the colors and the textures. The chickpeas will remain somewhat firm, and so will the peppers, but the eggplant and the zucchini and squash will cook very quickly. Alright. Alright, the veggies are beginning to soften, so we're going to add in the tomatoes. They're just diced tomatoes in a can. You can use fresh, but these will work just fine for what we're doing. And you can hear that it's adding liquid in there. We'll get maybe half a cup, 3/4 of a cup. Stir these around. So you might have noticed that the eggplant was was peeled. For this dish, absolutely peel it. For eggplant parm, I don't like to peel the eggplant because it softens very much. But here, it's not going to cook long enough. It might get a little bitter. All right, let this go another minute or two. All right, so we're just about to take this off the heat. So I'll turn the heat off right now. Everything's nice and soft. And what we do, we've got some red sauce here, a little marinara that's been prepared ahead of time for my stash. We're going to just put this in, a couple ladles full. You stir this around. Coat it all in the little marinara. I'm going to toss in some chopped basil. All right. Stir that around. And last thing we're going to do before we fill the shells, I'm going to put a little garlic salt in. One of my faves. A little more fresh ground pepper. Alright, one last turn. Got the nice colors here, got the good textures. Alright, and we're just about ready to fill. Okay, we're back to put together our stuffed shells. So we've got a baking dish here that we're going to put in our preheated oven. We're going to put some of the marinara sauce down here on the bottoms so the shells will not stick to the pan here. We'll spread this around and then we'll start filling. Alright. So, I'm supposed to put about, I guess until they're full, these shells. So this is what one will look like. It's a little bit full, and then we're going to top it with cheese. We're just put it right here on the marinara. A little, okay. Be best if they don't touch. It's not the easiest thing to do. Alright. And we'll be back in just a minute when we've got this all full. So the last thing we do before we put it in the oven is to top with some cheese. This is Italian 5 cheese, so we're just going to put it on top of each. Provolone, mozzarella, Parmesan. This will cook nicely. And then we'll just top with a little parm. No such thing as too much parm. And the final touch, put a little chopped basil on top. Alright, we're ready to go into the oven. Alright, we've got our oven preheated to 450 degrees, and we're going to put this in on top. Set the timer for 12 minutes. And we'll wait. As soon as it's done, the beeper goes off. I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, we're just about finished with our Ratatouille stuffed shells. Those of us of a certain age, stuffed shells and stuffed peppers were gourmet items back when we were growing up. And I remember stuffed shells very clearly. So this is a modern take with a vegetarian bent on stuffed shells, a little Italian seasonings and sauce and flavor to it. You can smell the Parmesan cheese and the other cheeses melting on top. And this would be a great dish to serve. There we go. All right, pull it out, show you what it looks like. bubbling. All right, delicious, very nice. It's toasty on top, the sauce is bubbling. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you again next time.